So good morning. We are actually, I hope you are able to see the screen, and if yes, please raise your hand. One of you, good enough. If one can raise the hand that they can see the screen, then I am okay. Fine. So we are jumping to this topic after a break of several classes due to your periodical one exams. We are actually again revisiting this topic because we did not complete. Okay, so the topic is going to be current flow in semiconductors. See, after all, the whole electronics is all about how the electron and holes, the charge carriers in semiconductors flow constituting current, and the current voltage relationship is what governs the entire gadgets, okay, electronic gadgets. So we need to understand this current flow in semiconductors. So what are the mechanisms by which this current flow happens in semiconductor? We recall the concept what is called diffusion. This is mechanism 1, and 2 is drift. So recall that diffusion concept is nothing but the movement of charge carriers that happen as a result of concentration gradient. So the responsible factor is concentration gradient. So if you drop ink on the surface of water, from the point where you dropped, which is a point of high concentration, the ink disperses through the water and eventually the concentration, equilibrium concentration is established, whereby there is no more concentration gradient. So here we are talking about concentration gradient of the charge carriers. Okay, so that constitutes diffusion. So diffusion is a mechanism. So the current that flows as a result of this concentration gradient of charge carriers is known as the diffusion current. Now you think about the drift mechanism. The drift mechanism is happening as a result of application of external field across the semiconductor. Application of external field. Okay, so that is the 1 second. So these are the two things that happens as a result of the drift and diffusion. Okay, so let us go to diffusion mechanism and recall these expressions. Diffusion mechanism. So here we have two types of charge carriers. So two types of charge carriers. In semiconductors. One is the electron, the other is the hole. So if you look at the diffusion, so the current, diffusion current density, I talk about current density. This is the current that flows per unit area of cross section. Say, let us say, for example, this is my wire, cylindrical wire. And let us assume that I am pumping lot of electrons or holes from this left side, and so the concentration gradient is established. Okay, by this means, so I am pumping charge carriers from left, pumping charge carriers by some means. Okay, and the natural tendency for the charge carriers to move and establish equilibrium concentration drives this diffusion mechanism, and after some time there will be some equilibrium established and the concentration will become same. So this is my area of cross section of this wire, area of cross section. Area of cross section. The current density is defined as, the symbol is J. It is defined as J. Current density is actually J equal to current divided by area. So area of cross section is shown. So this is my area of cross section. So let us say I, if I is flowing, I by A. So the unit is obviously ampere per centimeter square. Okay, that is the unit. So we have two charge carriers. As a result, we will have current due to current density due to hole concentration gradient. So that will constitute what is called Jp, is the symbol for hole current density. And Jn is the electron current density. So the net current is a sum of these two currents. Okay, the net current is sum of these two currents, so it becomes Jn plus Jp. So that is the net current in the semiconductor. Now, in order to differentiate between the diffusion mechanism and drift mechanism, we are talking about diffusion. We will write the symbol J N D plus JPD. So the D stands for the diffusion mechanism. So this is my diffusion current density, JD. Okay. Now what is this JPD? That is the hole current density due to diffusion. So the expression, if I were to look at it, hole, as you know, is positively charged. Okay. And let us assume that this is my so if I take a rectangular bar, for example, and I draw only the front face of this rectangular bar, and this is along, say, x direction, and it's a whole bar, three-dimensional, but I am only drawing the front. And let us assume that I have the holes pumped from the left. The holes start to diffuse and move through this along the direction from left to right, and as a result of concentration gradient. So what is this hole current density is actually proportional to JPD, is proportional to the charge itself, and because it is only concentration gradient, definitely it will be proportional to dP by dx, where P is the concentration. P is the concentration. okay, as a function of this distance. And I am only considering one dimensional variation, therefore I have this dp by dx. But if I were to consider 3-dimension, then I have to bring in what is called the del operator. Probably you must have been introduced to this del operator in vector calculus. If not, you will learn it later. So that is a partial derivative, that operator will come into play. So JPD is proportional to dp by dx. And now I want you to imagine that, let us assume that it's an exponentially varying concentration as a function of this distance, and therefore I get like this. So this is my, at any point along this length of this semiconductor bar, I can actually find what is the value of dp by dx knowing the value of x. Okay, and therefore this diffusion current density JPD is equivalent to, the proportionally constant is going to be the diffusion coefficient. Okay, so it becomes actually q dp by dx. Now what about the sign on this? That is one thing. So this exponential decay, therefore dp by dx is negative. So this is negative. So we know the current is actually, negative current means it is actually flowing in an opposite direction than the current direction that we have assumed. That's all. That means that. Okay. So actually Q is, so I have to account at a negative sign to ensure that the current density is always positive. So minus Q dp by dx, because this will bring a negative value, and this negative of negative will become positive. Q is positive of a charge of a hole. So therefore the net current density due to hole will be, due to diffusion process, will be minus Q dp by dx, and where capital dp is the diffusion coefficient. Of holes. Likewise, I can write JND equal to, that is the electron diffusion current density equal to Q dn by dx. So this is my, the rate of change of, I will rather say change in the concentration with the distance. Okay, so the change in the concentration with the distance, because I am only considering one dimensional variation. So dn by dx is the variation in the concentration, this thing, and I again assume that the electron concentration also varies exponentially like this, and this is my concentration n, this is my distance x. So this is an exponential variation. dn by dx will obviously be, it is decay, which means negative, and q is, the charge on the electron is negative, therefore my current density is going to be positive. Okay, so this is a positive number, this is a positive number. So don't get bottled by this where the negative sign should occur. That is what I want to tell. So from here we can say that actually the holes will move from, so this is my hole movement, hole motion, and because hole is a positive charge, the direction of the conventional current is also along the direction of the movement of the positive charges, which means the whole diffusion current also moves in this direction. Now what about electron? Electron again motion along this direction from, because the concentration is high here, concentration is low here, so obviously it will move to the lower this thing to establish equilibrium concentration. So electron motion, and then here the electron is negatively charged. Direction of conventional current is along the opposite direction of the movement of the electrons. Therefore, I will have this thing as JND. So the net result is J equal to JP D plus JND, which is actually nothing but Q dp by dx plus Q dn by dx. So capital D stands for the diffusion coefficient of electrons. Now I want you to caution one thing, because the charge carriers move through the lattice. Okay, so different materials will have different values of the diffusion coefficients for electrons and holes. So in a numerical problem, you will be given the diffusion coefficient for electrons and holes. You have to use that. Okay, so Dn stands for diffusion coefficient of electrons. Okay, so that is the talk. Now I want you to tell for the value of, for case of silicon, in case of silicon, you know the symbol is Si. Dn is actually 35 centimeter square per second. The unit can be easily seen from that mathematical relationship, and dp, diffusion coefficient of holes in case of silicon, is going to be 12 centimeter square per second. Okay, so that is the unit, the diffusion coefficient of electrons and diffusion coefficient of holes. Now let us, before we run, let us do this problem quickly. Consider a bar of silicon. Consider a bar of silicon in which a whole concentration profile, is given by exist and is given by P of x equal to P naught e power minus x by LP. That's a diffusion length, LP. Find whole current. At x equal to 0. Okay, given P naught equal to 10 power 16 per centimeter cube. LP, it is the diffusion length of the holes, LP is actually 1 micron. 1 micron, and dP, the diffusion coefficient of holes, for silicon is actually just now we saw 12 centimeter square per second. Okay, if the cross sectional area, of the bar is 100 micron square, find IP. Find the value of the diffusion current itself. That's what it is asked. Now, what is given? We have been given. Now think about it. P of x is given. So let us first write that. P of x. So solution. So all of you can start to attempt this problem while I write the steps. You can independently write it. So let me go to the screen back. So those of you who have not taken, so let me again read it. Consider a bar of silicon in which a hole concentration profile is given by P of x equal to P naught e power minus x by LP. Find hole current at x equal to 0 given. Given P naught equal to this, LP equal to 1 micron, dP is given, cross sectional area is given. Find the hole current. That's all the question is. Very simple. P of x is actually P naught. This is given e power minus x by LP. Okay. So first thing is we have to find hole current at x equal to 0. Then we have to also find actually the simple hole current. Okay. So hole current at x equal to 0. If I have, then I can find the hole current IP in general. Okay. So hole current at x equal to 0. That is the question. Okay. Sorry, there is a small thing here. This is actually find hole current density. Please make this correction. Is hole current density at x equal to 0. So if I have to look at it, P of x equal to P naught e power minus x by LP, and hole current density, what means is JP is actually, we know that, let me not worry about this negative sign to begin with. If I am confused, so dP by dx. Now there is a negative sign here. So Q is positive, so therefore I have to accommodate a negative sign here. So which means minus Q dP by dx. So let us look at what is dP by dx. This is my hole current density. So dP by dx will be the P naught will be there straight away, P naught, and e power minus x by LP will become minus 1 by LP, minus 1 by LP. You differentiate the power and then simply e power minus x by LP. Right. So dP by dx is this. Now JP is this answer. So JP current density at x equal to 0 will be minus Q dP. You substitute all of this, P naught, there is a negative, so it becomes actually positive over here. P naught 1 by LP. Now at x equal to 0, what is e power minus x by LP? So e power, it will become actually 0 by e power, anything to the power 0 will be 1. So you don't have to worry. So Q into dP into P naught by 1 by LP. So straight away you substitute this, you will get the result. Okay. So how do I do this? So I have the dp value which is 12. Okay. You multiply by 12 and then you have been given p naught 10 power 16. Q is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. LP is given 1 micron equal to. So one thing you must understand, everything must be in the same units. I request you to use for this course. For the length, you use centimeter always. Okay. So if you are to use micron meter, then you have to ensure that your dp you have to use it in meter square per second. So since dp is given in 12 centimeter square per second, make sure that you use. So 1 micron become actually 1 into 10 power minus 4 centimeter. So when you substitute, what will be the value? What will be the value? The value will be, you can check it. The current density, whole current density will be 192. This is my at, so it is entering on the bar at this at x equal to 0. This is at x equal to 0. Now the question asked is actually, if the cross sectional area is 100 micron square, find IP. So here comes the whole current. So let me write it. This is my whole current. So the density means current per unit area. Current means density into area. So which means IP will become, another page, IP equal to JP into area of cross section A. So 192 into 100 micron square. So it becomes 100 into 10 power minus 8. Okay. So that will be my stuff. So 100 into 10 power minus 8, this is ampere. So this is already in ampere per centimeter square. So the centimeter square, this area. So you can, that centimeter square in the denominator will get cancelled with this. So leaving, you will have 192 into 10 power minus 6. That's equivalent to, we can see that 192 microampere. So this is a typical current. Okay, so this is my whole current. Now let us go to the next mechanism, what is known as the drift mechanism. Drift mechanism. If you have any questions, you can actually, we will shoot it up at the end, okay, or in the discussion hour. So drift mechanism is actually the current flow that happens as a result of application of external electric field. So the charge carrier, okay, the charge carrier move under the influence of external field. How will the charge carrier move? Okay, depends on the nature of the solid itself, semiconductor itself. Okay, so a hole or electron, for example, may move in silicon differently in comparison to under the influence of field. For the same field, in germanium, it will move differently. Okay, all right. So that you must understand. So again, here also we come across the constant called how will the charge carrier move. So the question is, how will the charge carriers, namely the electrons and holes, how will the charge carriers move through the semiconductor under the influence of external field. So the measure of this, okay, measure of the ease of the electron or hole flow is given by what is known as mobility. Now I told you there is a effective mass associated with the electron. There is a concept of effective mass associated with the hole. The rest mass of electron is well known. The rest mass of hole is 0. Okay, but when these charge carriers move, because the effective masses of holes and electrons are different, they will move differently. First of all, so the mobility values is going to be different for electron and hole, and it will also vary from solid to solid. So two things, the electron and hole mobility are not the same, number one. Number two, it will also vary from solid to solid. So simply speaking, I will say that, okay, let us talk about it. This is my solid semiconductor, a piece of rectangular semiconductor, and I am going to apply a field. Electric field I am going to apply across this semiconductor. So the field E points from always, electric field originates from positive to negative. So the direction of the field is in this. So electric field is a vector. You will learn it in the electromagnetics course. Okay. So electric field is actually in this direction. Now this semiconductor has lot of electrons and holes, and under this influence of this field, the electrons and holes are going to move. How are they going to move? So let us, and they will gain what is called a steady state velocity. Once a steady state is established, which will be very quick, and so we will come across the term what is called the, so this, the movement of the charge carrier as a result of this thing is called drift, as a result of application of external field. So there is something called the drift velocity of holes. And there is also something called drift velocity of electrons. Drift velocity of electrons. And this Vp and Vn, obviously, because it is velocity, it is measured in centimeter per second, and Vp is proportional to the field E. Vn is proportional to the field E. The proportionality constants, okay, proportionality constants are what is given as the mobility mu. So if you look at this field E and holes being positively charged, definitely the movement of holes will be along the direction of the field. So holes drift along the direction of field. Direction of field. So obviously the current will be in this direction. Direction of holes drift along the direction of field. Electrons, on the other hand, are negatively charged. They will drift in a direction, or they will move in a direction opposite to that of the direction of the field. Okay, so electrons drift in an opposite direction to the field. So electrons drift in an opposite direction, holes drift along the direction of field, okay, external field. Now, because holes are positively charged, electrons are negatively charged. Okay, so, but we know the direction of the conventional current is along the direction of the movement of the positive charge, which means your this is drift current. Okay, here J, I will simply write it as Jn drift. Jn drift. Okay, Jn drift is actually now. So electrons is moving in this direction from right to left under the influence of field. The holes move in the direction. So this is my direction of electron movement. Okay, so that's it. So the holes, on the other hand, move from left to right. Okay, so but the conventional current is always along the positive direction. Therefore, the current is going to flow in the direction shown by this arrow. Okay, so Jn drift is actually given as mu n. So mu1 is the mobility of electrons for the given semiconductor. Mu1 mobility of electrons for the given semiconductor, and E. Okay, now the current is going in the opposite direction of the field. Therefore, I have to account it a negative sign here. So Jn drift is minus mu1 E. Okay, so E is, it is moving in an opposite direction. Now what about Jp? Jp is going to be minus. There is no minus here because it is the holes is moving along the direction, so it is going to be plus only. So Jpe. So the total. So again, I have to write the word drift here. So which means J drift. The total drift is given as Jp drift plus Jn drift. So let us assume that in a semiconductor, both these mechanisms exist, in which case the total current will be the sum of the two currents, which is diffusion current and drift current, in which case we have to write this expression, the total, assuming both mechanisms of current flow existing at a given instant, then the total current is J equal to J diffusion plus J drift, which is nothing but Jn diffusion plus Jp diffusion plus Jn drift plus Jp drift. This is the total current density due to both diffusion and drift mechanisms. I hope the concept is very clear, and we'll just do a quick problem just to grasp this concept. So find the resistivity, find the resistivity of A intrinsic silicon and B P-type with acceptor concentration Na equal to 10 power 16 per centimeter cube. Ni, the intrinsic carrier concentration for silicon is 1.5 at room temperature, 1.5 into 10 power 10, 1.5 into 10 power 10 per centimeter cube. Okay. Okay. Before that, I need to do some theory which I forgot in my. Okay. For intrinsic, take down this problem. We'll do it in the next class. For intrinsic silicon, mu1 equal to the mobility of electrons is 1350. What will be the unit here? The unit will be obviously, because it is J is given as ampere per centimeter square. Okay, so you can actually see V velocity. Okay, so go here. If I have this V equal to mu E. So definitely E is in volt per second and V is centimeter per second. So you can see that. So this is volt per meter and volt per centimeter. I'm sorry. So E is volt per centimeter, V is centimeter per second. So which means mu will be, the unit of mu will be, it goes to the other side, numerator, centimeter square volt second. I hope that is clear. So that is 1300 centimeter square volt second. Mu P equal to 480. We'll come back to this problem after doing some theory. We need to do that theory. So volt second. For basically we need to arrive at an expression for conductivity and resistivity. That's what I'm saying, the theory. For doped silicon, mu1, you look at it, look at the number here. I will come back to that. 1000 centimeter square, 1110 centimeter square voltage second, mu1 is mobility of electrons for doped silicon. Okay, so it is doped with, it's a p type, so you need acceptor impurity. Mu p is actually 400 centimeter square voltage second. You expect, because you are putting this acceptor impurity in the silicon, definitely now the charge carriers will see a different internal field in the crystal, semiconductor crystal. They will respond to the internal potential appropriately within the solid, and therefore the mobility you can see has, the constants are decreased as a result of doping. That's a concept for you to take home now. Okay, but I need to do some theory and it's already the time. So we'll complete the theory and then we'll come back to this problem. Okay, so next class we'll take this. Just a minute.